It's your boy Josh Ford. We're live in the studio. Make sure to click the link in my bio. But again, today we've been seeing issues with the bank. We haven't been seeing our money deposited. Still same amount of money in hand. And the bank continues to close some of the apps because the apps are connected to my banking account. But this wouldn't make sense if a lot of business entities owe me money, especially the bank. Um, I work with a lot of distribution companies, ASCAP, Harry Fox Agency, Music Licensing Agency, DistroKids, CD Baby, TuneCore. We have some of the biggest records on the board: Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Threads. So we worked with all of these licensing companies and monetization companies. And again, it only looks like this much in my hand. I owe individuals money still, but I have this much. But the bank owes me a lot, as well as all of these distribution companies, different corporations, different agencies, especially the places that I've already worked with previously. This is how people are then able to retire later on. But as they work in real time, um, they're also supposed to be paid. And as we sent out the emails 35 days ago to the lawyer to have an adjustment in our pay, even especially being under minimum wage, and taking a look at our network while looking at our back pay for the last 15 years. So accumulating the back pay while looking at our network while also adjusting for having below minimum wage pay. This is all things that are illegal, especially being paid out a penny at certain distribution companies while also not being paid in the meantime at least minimum wage while then doing that work on DistroKid, CD Baby, TuneCore, which is then connected to all of the other social media platforms, trillion-dollar corporations, Apple Music, Google, Amazon, Spotify. These are also connected to the bigger subsidiary companies and so on. But there's a list. There's hundreds of corporations, but that means 200 countries, 203 territory slash country. That's across the globe. But today again, our bank has not been fixed yet, and our money remains this much. This is then a state of emergency, because then say you replicate it, then do that to more people or somebody in the bank. Not good. That wouldn't be great value proposition, because then when I get the value, that's the money worked for, equal fair pay, right? We said a lot of this on the protest footage that people were holding signs, Queen Kaumano, in front of the mall down the Wailuku Street. So we like to then say that that's one of the reasons that are linked to that, right? Fair pay, but especially the pay that you work for, and then calculating back pay, especially when you do this and then nobody else is also taking that money even more. So then say then they don't equal that to fair value, right? They put it underneath fair value, and then they also then have, I don't know, 10% taken out by whoever, but then they're delaying time. So then every entity that I then speak to that is connected to that doesn't leave a message or has me not able to speak, which then equals to get my value or the amount already worked for. So if I worked last night and then I worked today, and or 2 weeks ago or a month ago, even the music industry then cannot give me less than minimum wage in the meantime, and then say that then it's less than minimum wage on the 3 month which is then illegal to get paid even in 3 months in the music industry. So then that means all the forms, all the regulations, that's not including distribution and social media. Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, X, all of these platforms, this LinkedIn that then have my resume on them in the workforce over here, right? In real life. Office Max, University of Hawaii, that's the state, Verizon, also, that's big time corporation. Then we have all of the rest of the companies that Hawaii, the media companies. This list goes on, but then that would then equal to reading the email that was sent out. So advanced emergency fund, back payout advanced emergency fund is just getting the money that is already supposed to be calculated. So then you would have to say, okay, so what is Forbes? And then what is local, state, federal? And what is Forbes then? Because then Forbes list looks like they don't do a thing if I'm worth trillions to billions. So if somebody else will be getting paid, that means their work will be getting calculated for. So if my work isn't being paid for in day to day, in real time, in 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, then who else is calculating everybody else's work? So then if I hit 20,000 posts, right, on the biggest social media platform, billions of people, then why is the work not being calculated for? And then why will we be seeing certain inconsistencies even in banking? So if I was only loyal, open one bank, right? Because then if I once had another one, I would have had to question it because I had to say like, okay, so why did I have this one exactly? Then I would have to say, oh no, thank you. I had to say no, thank you to one because I have to question what will be the reason for me to have another one, right? So then if I know a few people, right, if they say you should go here, but then they don't give me a reason, I will have to question it. So then I will stick with my First Hawaiian Bank, right? And then why would they question me getting plus? So in monetization, you get debits. That's a plus. So in monetization in the bank, right? With the bank, we would love to have our pay, especially if we have one account. That's all it is. So this money right here, right? If we're not able to use our bank, and our bank already supposed to continue to have money being added into it, it means deposited. It means checks are being deposited. That means monetization credits are being debited into our bank. That means monetization value, especially for the amount of posts that's been. There's a lot of people way better than that than me. But when I hold this here, right, if it's not being added every single day, that means my net worth isn't then being calculated. That means everybody in life is supposed to be paid their paycheck on time. 2 weeks, 1 week. Some people get paid 3 days, maybe one day, maybe 2 weeks. Maybe it's 1 month. Then that would then be illegal when people aren't being paid. That's even what kids age of 16, sometimes 17, 18, still going to forms of work, even credited at school. That then, sometimes help the kid either put that into more books or even pay them. So very interesting when the bank is not operating that way. Doesn't mean that I have a problem or anything. I would be wondering, so what is the model and how does it operate then to then provide value, the value proposition of the bank to one of its biggest loyal customers and clientele. So every day I go without money, then I gotta start questioning a lot of the um Hawaii state, different other states too, federal, state, and the government. I gotta start questioning why isn't my fair pay, and then if I'm questioning it, I might know other individuals. Maybe I know different people in my family that have to get their amount, their value, their net worth, the amount paid to them. What if that has to be adjusted because it wasn't? So if somebody retired, like maybe if my family retires, right? My great grandpa, what if my great great grandfather needs his pay? Do we send these people into the street, or does the state then give them a check where then apartments can be bought, apartments can be sold, management then know how to do different forms of work? Housing is different than monetization at the bank when you're just owed debits. That means I could be worth billions of dollars. I don't have to then be afraid of this money if I put the work in, right? 20,000 Facebook posts comparable to Gary Vee, comparable to Mark Zuckerberg, YouTube, 2,000 Facebook videos. Does that mean that then it has to be a big price? No, but the value in there and the brands attached to it that are also then connected to the state and the federal government, which then are trademarks, then we'll be able to. It doesn't have to view me, right? You don't view the individual, you view the work that they did and the work that's out there. So now we have the song Revolution out there. We have the song City Poppin', 8 minute special version song. Shout out to Avalon, right? We put that on the vocal chain. That was beautiful to do. We also used native instruments on that song. So then when you provide that much value in an 8 minute cinematic audio experience, you would then expect to get paid more than $1 a day just because you already have to put that value in, right? Then it looks like the Forbes list is looking sleepy, or just people in the community that want to have miracles happen daily. So miracles that happen daily just means our behavior has to be positive. It means my bank account should look in the net positive. That means our behavior should be positive. We know a lot of individuals that aren't on the internet, but that doesn't mean that they shouldn't be on the internet. Maybe the cost of living, the cost of phones, the cost of housing, and you didn't pay a person. Maybe you didn't pay one person, and then Christmas could be every single day, but you're waiting. Imagine Christmas could be every day, but you're waiting 364 days. Why would you wait 364 days if miracles is out now and Christmas could be daily? That means, so say you did. First of all, you do know because the name is connected to the bank. There's certain numbers. So I like people's phone number, name, and their email. And then I get to know them, right? I get to at least text them. That's one step closer to making a transaction happen, providing value. You can provide value in other ways too, but in business, that's what we like to do. So the bank can then either type in my name is connected already with the state and the government. That's just the business I did. That's one form. That doesn't mean that it has to be those businesses. Because then if you type in my name, okay, look at that music catalog. Look at how many posts there is connected between all platforms. The internet is one place, but those are all platforms that's connected to the internet. Easy to see, easy to pay out, and then it's easy to say why the rest is not spinning and moving. Because imagine you have to, oh, okay, he was like the first on the internet. His mom forced him to go onto the big Apple computers in the lab at school, and he was like the first one. Okay, so if the first one did all that on there, and everybody else is like moving their nails, they say I do business now. I need I need 4 bank accounts. I need one bank account with 4 accounts in it. Open them up because I do business now. I just took 100 grand, so I'm negative 100 grand. This is not the value, the net worth, especially the cash that's owed of work that was already done since 2008 on Facebook. That was already out of high school, straight into the pros, doing real work though. That's already having mixtapes global. That's already doing business global. That's already 2013, 11 being in Wall Street. Then I cannot be the one to say like, okay, that's just something that looks different. It looks like the number's supposed to pay me more. So that, you know, all of these platforms equal to also being attached to in real life. That's then a resume. If you use LinkedIn, right? If you're brave, if you're brave to use LinkedIn for some, you don't even have to do any of this. And people already at the bank, they wake up, they're like, oh my God, I woke up to the bank and it had this much this. And people already at the bank, they wake up, they're like, oh my God, I woke up to the bank and it had this much millions in it. And see, now my phone is acting crazy. But that's what can happen. Now my phone froze. So yeah, it's back on live. But people since their great grandmothers, they woke up to bank money and like, oh my God, girl, I don't know, but let's go shopping. If you already did the work, they can already see like, so why last month did he have that plus? So there's a attachment in one of my posts. It shows all of them that say plus. Then I could then say like, how come this month I don't see that again? If that was already work done last month,